Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military leaders. I'm your host, General Biography, and today we're going to explore the remarkable life of Charles Martel, the Frankish statesman and military leader who would shape the course of European history. Born around 686 AD in the town of Herstal, near modern-day Liège, Belgium, Charles Martel's early life was marked by a complex web of family alliances, political intrigue, and martial tradition. As we journey through the formative years of this legendary warrior, we find ourselves in the midst of the Merovingian dynasty, a time of great upheaval and transformation. The Frankish kingdom, founded by Clovis I, had expanded its territories through a series of conquests, but by the 7th century, it was fragmented into smaller territories ruled by various nobles and chieftains. The church played a significant role in shaping the political landscape, with bishops and abbots wielding considerable influence over the monarchs and nobility. Charles Martel's family, the Pippinids, were a powerful noble family who had risen to prominence through their strategic marriages, military prowess, and shrewd politics. His father, Pepin of Herstal, was a skilled military leader and statesman who had served as the mayor of the palace, the chief advisor to the Merovingian king. Charles's mother, Azpaida, was likely a member of a noble family, although little is known about her background. Charles Martel's childhood would have been spent in the midst of this complex web of politics and warfare. He would have grown up in the town of Herstal, surrounded by the rolling hills and fertile plains of the Meuse Valley. The town was an important center of trade and commerce, with merchants and travelers passing through its streets. As a young boy, Charles would have been exposed to the sounds of hammering on metal, the smell of freshly baked bread, and the sight of colorful fabrics and exotic spices. As he entered his teenage years, Charles would have begun to take on more responsibility within the family, likely participating in military campaigns alongside his father and learning the intricacies of statecraft. He would have received training in arms, tactics, and leadership, honing his skills as a warrior and a strategist. The Frankish kingdom was constantly at war with neighboring tribes and kingdoms, providing Charles with ample opportunities to test his mettle on the battlefield. One of the most significant influences on Charles's early life was the church. His family had cultivated strong ties with the church, which would later prove instrumental in securing their power and legitimacy. The Pippinids were patrons of several monasteries and churches, including the Abbey of St. Cyr, Hubert, which was founded by Charles's father. The church provided a sense of stability and continuity in a world marked by chaos and uncertainty. As we delve deeper into Charles's early life, it becomes clear that he was forged in a crucible of martial tradition, family politics, and strategic thinking. His upbringing, education, and early experiences all contributed to shaping him into a skilled warrior, astute politician, and visionary leader. As he rose to power, Charles faced numerous challenges, from rival nobles and external threats to internal conflicts and power struggles within the Frankish kingdom. His response was a masterclass in strategic thinking, diplomatic maneuvering, and bold leadership. One of Charles's most significant achievements was his victory at the Battle of Amel, fought around 716 AD, where he defeated the Neustrian forces led by King Chilperic II and mayor of the palace, Ragenfrid. This triumph marked a turning point in Charles's career, solidifying his position as the dominant power broker in the Frankish kingdom. He then went on to secure key victories at the battles of Cologne, Koblenz, and Angers, expanding Frankish control over neighboring territories and establishing himself as a formidable military commander. Charles's successes on the battlefield were complemented by his shrewd diplomatic maneuvers. He forged alliances with powerful nobles, bishops, and even external powers like the Lombards, securing their support through strategic marriages, generous concessions, and cleverly crafted agreements. For instance, his alliance with the church proved instrumental in bolstering his legitimacy and influence as he leveraged ecclesiastical support to consolidate his power and crush his opponents. A notable example of Charles's diplomatic acumen was his relationship with the church, particularly with prominent bishops like Boniface. He supported Boniface's missionary work among the Saxons and other pagan tribes, recognizing the potential benefits of converting these groups to Christianity and integrating them into the Frankish sphere of influence. In return, the church provided Charles with crucial backing, helping him navigate the complex web of alliances and rivalries within the Frankish kingdom. Charles's military campaigns were often marked by innovative tactics and a keen understanding of the terrain. At the Battle of Tours in 732 AD, he faced off against the Umayyad Caliphate's forces, led by Abd al-Rahman al-Ghafiqi. Charles's decision to choose a defensive position, leveraging the terrain to his advantage, allowed him to repel the Muslim invasion and secure a decisive victory. This battle marked a significant turning point in European history, halting Islamic expansion into Western Europe and cementing Charles's reputation as a brilliant military strategist. Throughout his campaigns, Charles demonstrated a deep understanding of the social and economic dynamics at play within the Frankish kingdom. He recognized the importance of trade, commerce, and agriculture, often targeting these sectors to weaken his enemies and strengthen his own position. For instance, he encouraged the development of trade routes and markets, fostering economic growth and stability within the kingdom. As we explore Charles's remarkable achievements, it becomes clear that he was driven by a combination of factors, including a desire for power, a sense of duty to his family and people, and a vision for a unified and prosperous Frankish kingdom. His leadership style was characterized by a unique blend of pragmatism, strategic thinking, and bold action, which allowed him to navigate the treacherous landscape of 8th century Europe and emerge as one of history's greatest military leaders. As Charles grew older, he faced increasing pressure from rival nobles and external threats who sought to undermine his authority and challenge his dominance. Despite these challenges, Charles remained a shrewd and effective leader, leveraging his experience, cunning, and military prowess to maintain control and expand Frankish influence. He continued to forge strategic alliances, often through marriages and diplomatic agreements, to secure the loyalty of key nobles and bishops. One notable example of Charles's later life diplomacy was his relationship with Pope Gregory III. In 739 AD, Charles responded to the Pope's appeal for help against the Lombards, who were threatening Rome. Although he didn't provide direct military aid, Charles negotiated a treaty with the Lombard king Luprund, which temporarily eased the pressure on the Papal States. This diplomatic maneuver demonstrated Charles's ability to balance his own interests with the needs of the Church and the broader European community. Charles also devoted significant attention to administrative reforms, aiming to strengthen the Frankish kingdom's institutions and ensure a smooth transition of power to his successors. He established a network of loyal officials known as missi dominici, who were responsible for overseeing local administration, collecting taxes, and maintaining order throughout the kingdom. This system helped to consolidate Charles's authority, reduce corruption, and promote economic growth. As Charles approached the end of his life, he began to make arrangements for the succession of his sons, Carloman and Pepin. In 741 AD, he divided the Frankish kingdom between them, with Carloman receiving the eastern territories and Pepin inheriting the western regions. This division reflected Charles's desire to maintain family unity while also acknowledging the distinct regional identities within the kingdom. Charles Martel died on October 27, 401 AD, at the age of 53, leaving behind a legacy that would shape European history for centuries to come. His military campaigns, diplomatic maneuvers, and administrative reforms had created a powerful and relatively stable Frankish kingdom, which would eventually give rise to the Carolingian dynasty under his son Pepin and grandson Charlemagne. In the words of the historian Einhard, Charles Martel was a man of great wisdom and intelligence who ruled the Franks with remarkable prudence and success. His impact on European history is still felt today, from the modern-day borders of France and Germany to the enduring influence of Christianity in the Latin Church. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.